Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is The Art of Politics. It's the only program where you have a great liberal like myself, Democrat, and an awful, terrible Republican who's just trouble. Well, anyway, Bill O'Brien used to be the co-host here. Bill O'Brien is so busy traveling around the country. He's got a new job. Bill won't be here anymore. He will come on as a guest. But we have a new co-host who has agreed to come in every week until I really hurt him, verbally or intellectually, which my opinion won't be too hard. It's Al Bildesar. How you doing, Al?
Hey, Ken, that's great. I don't know how many times I got to slap you in the back of the head there since I sit behind you.
I know, right?
You know, I need to try to get you to vote right and keep your hands out of people's pockets.
Yeah, here we go again.
Hey, who's this guy sitting right next to me? We got a special guest or something here?
Listen, just because you just got on here, you don't have to take
you're bringing
over.
You're bringing the heavy hitter to come at me.
Debbie. Well, we have, he's the head of the Democratic Party here in the city of Nashua. He is Dave Tanza. He's also a prosecutor for the state, obviously a very good attorney.
Wait, here in Nashua?
That's right.
Oh, Dave, welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
He has to bring in heavy hitters to take me on, and so, you know.
Well, I don't know about that. Sitting here with you guys for the last couple minutes, I'm not sure I'm going to get too many words in this 15-minute segment, but thank you. Thank you for having me.
Matter of fact, I'm prepared to hit you up on gas tax, on guns,
on
oil tax, on cigarette tax. Let's just go to town.
No, you're not. What we're going to do, he's only going to be here for 15 minutes. We're going to talk about Republicans and Democrats and the difference and how good, Democrats are compared to Republicans. I mean, that's what.
Why don't we take each a minute there and just talk about how good a Democrat is?
Well, hold on a second. Dave, welcome. You are the second Democrat who has dared to come on this show.
Yeah.
We want you to come back. We'd like you to have Democrats come on. Don't be afraid of Al or myself. We will fight amongst ourselves, but we will not go after a guest.
Sure.
And
I won't leave scars either, so.
Oh, God, I got to put up with him. That's all I got to say. So Dave.
Yes.
How do you feel about the Democratic Party? How is it going here in the city of Nashua? What do you think? Are we going to overpower the Republicans again?
And are you prepared to take a loss in 2014?
Am I prepared to take a loss?
Yes.
Never prepared to take a loss. But are we going to? Let me start with the last question. Are we going to overpower the Republicans? I'm going to answer. I'm going to say no. We're going to outwork the Republicans. We're not going to overpower them.
Whoa!
I like that. See,
and
I like
think
this guy
that,
already.
Yeah, and I think
I
that's.
like that. See, he wants to be the bully. You're not a bully, so I like that.
You're not a bully, please.
I think the great thing about New Hampshire, both sides, is that there's a lot of retail politicking that goes on, and I think the party that wins is the party that gets out there, talks to voters, knocks on doors, and says, "Hey, this is why we're running. This is why we think we're going to do the best job for the people of the state of New Hampshire." And it's no better place to do that than here in Nashua. People respond great. Democrats in Nashua here have a great reputation of getting out there, talking to our neighbors. We're organized. We know it's going to be a tough fight. It's a mid-year election, so
right.
we're taking nothing for granted. We'd like to keep all the gains that we made in 2012,
Right.
and we know the Republicans.
Of course, we don't see that happening with Medicaid
We don't see it.
extension, Obamacare, the gas tax, the cigarette tax, the oil tax. I could go on and on.
I know.
You guys got to keep your hands out of my pockets.
Go ahead, David.
Well, we know that you guys are calling in reinforcements from all over the place to come and run for office here in New Hampshire, so we know what along with that.
We have nothing to do with Scott Brown.
Well, not yet. He could be a
Scott
candidate.
Brown actually paid property taxes in the state of New Hampshire longer than I have.
Has he?
You know, I'm going to tell you, I was a Democrat for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Up until Ronald Reagan, I voted for him his second term. I've always voted Democrat. My grandfather was the mayor of Cambridge, Mass. My uncle was a state representative. I've sat around the table eating pasta with Tip O'Neill, Ted Kennedy in my younger days. I've been in this business since I was 5 years old. I got tired of Democrats having their hand in my pocket. I learned how to spend my own money. I seen the light.
Oh, you've seen the light. You couldn't see the light if you were in a light factory.
He's still young. He's going to change soon.
Nah.
No, he's
But
not.
it's
Looks
funny.
like he's a young lawyer, you know. It'll
Yeah, I
change
do.
soon.
Well, you know, it's funny because when I first coming out of college, I'm from Massachusetts myself, so I got a job for my state rep. And I remember Scott Brown when he was a state rep for Massachusetts coming around, and you know, he worked hard back then.
Yes.
And is a nice enough guy, but
He is a good guy.
he is-
I actually like him personally, but I
as
don't
far
like his
as
votes.
well, as far as representing the state of New Hampshire, I'm not sure how he gets away with saying that he thinks he can do a better job than Gene Shaheen. But I guess
Right.
that's up to the voters to decide.
Well, you know, we match him up with the Democrats because Gene Shaheen wouldn't think twice about taking people's guns, and he was the same way on the ban on the AR-15, which they
Excuse me,
call assault
I
weapons.
think it's very clear if you got Scott Brown or Gene Shaheen, Gene Shaheen is going to win, right down the middle. And you guys are putting up with this.
Well,
You're
you-
having a
well,
carpetbagger come out of
No, no.
Massachusetts. You can't even get people from New Hampshire.
You know, so many veterans gave their lives fighting for freedom. Who am I to tell Scott Brown you cannot come back home? He was born in New Hampshire, run for office. Many, you know what I'm saying? That's his opportunity.
You know,
but you know the difference between Gene Shaheen and Scott Brown?
Look,
gonna tell
there's
you.
a lot of differences.
I'm going to
but-
tell you, there is. Gene Shaheen lies and supported Obamacare. At least Scott Brown stood up for what he did.
Go ahead.
And tell it like it is.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
That
but-
means
We gotta
you
s-
can keep your doctor
Yeah.
if you
Oh,
want.
well,
Okay? She lied.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You got to say something to him about that? I know I can.
oh, about that? I mean, I don't think, clearly
she lie?
there have been, no one denies that there have been issues with the way that the Affordable Care Act was rolled out or Obamacare. That doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing to do, though. It doesn't mean that millions of Americans have health care coverage now that they didn't have before. Here in the state of New Hampshire, yes, the access is limited now, and next
Sure
year,
is.
it's going to the network's going to expand. The year after that, the network's going to expand.
You wanna know something more about expansion? Next year after the election, it's going to expand.
Well,
Well, no, we're going to have more.
After the election, there'll be another insurance
Just
company.
This is-
because
yeah.
you don't know,
Yeah.
more hospitals, more healthcare people are coming in.
sure.
I'll
And-
wink
and,
my eye
you know,
after the election.
I always talk to people about it like this. Let's say Apple's rolling out a new product, and half of the Apple company is working against that product to make sure that it doesn't work and it fails. Yeah, I mean a private company is going to have problems. Would you agree with me then?
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
New company. But
It-
see,
it-
that's not the issue.
But the issue was
Answer my question
Would you
first.
let him
Yeah.
finish
Did
what
she
he was
lie?
saying? You
I
don't.
asked a question.
You don't.
Did
and
she
I just
lie
said
on
he's
the
gonna
Senate
be a
floor?
full-time host. No. Let
Did-
him finish.
can you
don't-
answer
will
my
you
question?
please
Did she
let
lie?
somebody finish a sentence? Go ahead.
He was
So-
offered another
Will you
direction.
let him
I asked,
talk?
did she
And-
lie?
but this is my point. If I can make my point,
Yeah,
is that
well,
when,
if you can make
when
your point, please.
Obamacare, when it was rolled out, when it was passed into law legitimately, half of the government said, and your party said, we're not going to support this. We're going to do everything we can to repeal, right?
That's
And
correct.
even one of the candidates for governor says, nullify, nullify, nullify. That's my whole goal as governor,
Yes,
not to
and
do.
I agree.
Well, okay, good. Well, how can we expect Obamacare to have a rollout that's not that works if everyone's trying to make it not work? For instance, in the state of New Hampshire here, we had the opportunity to start our own New Hampshire specific. What's the word I'm looking for? New Hampshire specific marketplace.
Marketplace, right? We
But
want
it-
exchange.
Instead, the marketplace was left up to the federal government because I don't know for a fact, but I'm
Because
sure
of the
you.
Republicans.
Exactly.
For, and I stand
Because
up
of the
for my vote.
Republicans, go ahead.
I voted to stop Medicaid expansion in the state because the state would have had to pay $30 million, like Vermont, to bring up a site like Obama's site that cost $300 million. That didn't work. And didn't Vermont take it up to court?
Hold on.
The people that
Then
did the site?
don't you dare turn around and say Jean Shaheen is a liar.
She is a liar.
Because she can't keep her own. You can't keep
She
your
did
own dog.
lie.
When you guys let an insurance company come in here, one insurance company
No,
come in,
he was already
get
here.
rid of
That one
10
insurance company
hospitals,
was already
including
there.
one here in Nashua. And guess what? It was you guys who did that.
You know, I think we need to be truthful here, and I think, you're a young lawyer here, and I respect you there, and you're not like him. I have to bring out the facts. If you take a look at the hospitals at Antrim, the 10 hospitals, they were already cutting those hospitals, and those hospitals did not want to do business with Antrim because Antrim pays less money than other insurances. They couldn't afford to stay in business. Then all of a sudden, Antrim steps up, and these hospitals don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, first of all,
Wait, no, let him talk. He's the Democrat chair.
You're incorrect. They didn't talk to Southern Regional. Anthem did not talk with Southern Regional. Anthem made a deal with St. Joseph Hospital before
Can you let
Southern
her
Regional.
speak?
And
I'm
wait,
being
well,
quiet for the
and
guests.
I will let him speak. But the gentleman's name, the CFO's name is Rose, and you can ask him because I was the only representative to call down this if they needed some help. Make any sense?
Makes a lot of sense. But I mean, I think
Wow, he's
I
just
think
like the Democrats. One
Yeah,
one lies, the other swears to it.
He's
Go
got-
ahead.
no, I mean, I think that the problem is that we for whatever reason we gave control back to Washington. I think Medicaid expansion is a great example of how when both parties in New Hampshire work together, we come up with a New Hampshire specific way to go about things. And I think, I had Representative Cindy Rosenwald on the show one time to talk about Medicaid expansion.
Yep.
And she says, yeah, even with the Senate plan, which Senator Morse came up with, there's probably not a whole lot she would change in it because it's a good plan that fits what we need here in the state. And it's a good kind of third way using public money to support private
Are you
industry.
familiar with did you even look at the Morris plan? Do you
Did
know
it-
what's in that plan?
Well, I'm talking about
Oh,
the
I'm
plan
sorry.
that came
No,
out
no,
of
The
the
one
Senate.
that come out of the Senate.
It's got to be
And the-
Republicans.
The one that come out, it's a Republican plan, it's a compromise, okay? But do you know there's a waiver in there? And those waivers never get passed? And if that waiver don't get passed, you know what happens in 2015?
Oh, I know, which is
It goes away, Medicaid expansion.
It will never
which
go
is
away.
exactly
Goes
why
away.
people need
We
to
have to
vote.
re-vote on it.
Right. It's exactly why people need to vote for Democrats and put them back in office in at least
Do you have a
2015.
plan? Let me ask you something. In 3 years, right now it's 100%. In 3 years it goes to 90. Do you have a game plan where we're going to get the 10% to pay for this?
Personally,
If you were a state
no.
legislator, where are we going to get the money to pay for the
Well,
10? No,
that's simple.
he should know because you only one
Well,
rep. He deals with all the
that's
reps.
right. But this is, you and I are in this. That's really simple.
Where does the money
You
come?
know how we're going to do it? We just found out that Canada has a higher, more middle class than the United States, and they've had health care for 50, 100 years. We just started out with health care, and we have a lower middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on you guys. And this guy's only got one more minute, so if you would like to say something more,
You know, before he goes,
Yeah.
I want you to look up here. In the last 10 years, New Hampshire's growth has been stagnant. In the last 10 years, we have not grown. Take a look at it.
yeah,
I'll take a
Our
look at it.
exports and everything else.
that's not true.
Under
but
Democrat
you
leadership.
don't know how to count.
Under Democrat leadership.
You didn't know how to use
Well,
a
let's
computer.
let him. He has to go now.
Not
Just
only
wanted
does he
do
know
have to
how
go,
to
and I
use a
don't-
computer, he can't even use a calculator.
No,
Yeah, try a
he
pencil.
looks pretty intelligent.
I can't-
He does how.
I can't say that I know too much about the exports of the state, but no, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. I'm not even sure I could keep up with you guys for half an hour, the pace that you go out here at this show, but I think it's great to have this dialogue, and hopefully people are tuning in and getting something from it.
Without
Good.
a
Shake
doubt.
his
I
hand
will shake
now.
his hand. I don't,
for
I
God's
don't mind.
sakes. All
That
right.
guy had lunch yesterday with my chair. He's Democrat. A couple other members are Democrats in my committee. We all went out to lunch. Had a good time.
Probably picked
It's
up
ju-
pockets.
It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah, I'll tell
policy.
ya.
Actually, I paid for one of the Democrats. He didn't have any money. He forgot his wallet. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Because he's got his hands in everyone else's
On
wallet.
that note, let's not forget that I beat this guy arm wrestling. Let's
Yeah,
not-
okay.
let's not
Yeah.
forget that.
In his dreams.
Well, Dave, this is kind of what we do here. So it always makes one a little bit sharper. But I think what you say is correct. I think we all agree that what you got to do is you got to get both Republicans and Democrats out there working and let the people. And on that note, we're going to have to take a break. Dave Musleeve, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank
you
you.
for having me.
Come back again. We'll go easy on you.
Absolutely,
At least he will.
All right, this is The Art of Politics with this group. There'll only be one left, Representative Baldessaro and myself, Dave Musleeve. Thanks, Dave. Back in a moment. Well, we're back. My name is Ken Gidge, and Al.
Al
We're
Baldessaro.
back here, and congratulations. You have agreed to come on and to be the co-host, and Bill O'Brien has left the building. He will come in as a guest, he said, but he was just given a great award
That's
as the
The conservative of the year for New Hampshire
Right,
for the
and-
job he did with the budget
and
in a surplus.
and they brought Gingrich in,
They sure
right?
did, yes.
and then he got too high and mighty to come in here and do this show.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So he sends you? I
he-
gotta go.
After him stepping down, there's not being the speaker anymore, he went to work. He's a lawyer, and of course, he's making a lot of money now being the chief operation officer for an internet company.
That's
So
hard.
he's doing good. He's happy, and we're trying to talk him into running again.
Oh, no, please. His
Yeah.
no, his wife, who is an artist, by the way.
Right?
I'm an
Yes.
artist.
Mhm. My wife's an artist also.
Well, that's right.
you know,
That's right.
Mhm.
And I could say, never mind, I won't. This is the art of politics. No, I don't think he will. I think he's going to move on, and I think it's just fine. And I got to tell you, and he's the trouble we're in right now. He caused all the trouble.
I don't see how he caused the
Well,
trouble.
I know I'm going
I
to have
don't
to
see that.
explain it to you.
You're going to have to explain it so that people understand. you.
Well, I
disagree.
I
He
will.
caused it.
But having said that, he was duly elected.
That's right.
He was duly elected as Speaker of the House.
He sure was.
He had a supermajority. I hope no one ever has a supermajority. 160 new people came in on the Republican side, not knowing the laws of the
we've all
House, not
been there.
knowing.
You
Wait a
can't
minute.
say
No, wait.
that.
No. I know, but there was not enough
Right.
people in the Republican Party. There was a split. You had the Free Staters. You had the
Right.
oh God, and so they're caucusing outside the Republican Party, then coming in. So you guys had a mess. Now, hold on a second. You got to admit that that's factual. That's probably one of the reasons why you guys got thrown out. Okay?
Well, no, I wouldn't say the Free Staters. I mean, there was libertarians.
Well, libertarians,
Not all of them were
but
Free
they all got
Staters.
together.
Right. What they did, yeah, you're right. I mean, that's only right.
We
I mean,
don't
it's a free
need.
country.
I'm sorry, Free Staters.
I
I'm not.
mean, look at your party. You got liberals and you got moderates. What's the difference? You got certain people that caucus at different times.
We have conservatives in the Democratic Party
Right.
too.
Yeah, and earlier you introduced yourself as a liberal. I was shocked at that.
Well,
You know.
Well, and you're,
Yeah.
not, and you're not a conservative.
You
I
don't-
gotta at
I
least
am a conservative.
At least beat you up a
I am-
little.
I
You're
am-
always after me, cutting my
I am
throat.
fortunate to be one of the tri-chairs of the House Republican
That's right.
Alliance,
That's right.
and we're a group within the Republican Party at the State House that are the conservatives, that are the constitutionalists, and the platform. Okay, of course, I break away from the platform on gambling.
I know. You're on what?
On gambling, I support gambling. I
Oh.
always voted for gambling.
Yeah.
Might be in the blood. I'm Italian.
Well, yeah. You see, you will gamble. My family would own the gaming house.
Yeah, is that what it is?
So you can, please. We need gaming.
I can't believe we lost 172 in the speaker. voted.
We have probably on this week's show, we got about 8 minutes. But having said that, next week's show definitely we'll talk more about it. But,
Oh, you ain't kidding.
But people have to understand, and we're going to know more next week. The gaming lost by 1 vote. And by the time this show plays, it might be completely gone.
You know, since we had a couple of things, and we'll wait for gaming for the next show, you know, there was some good things you talked about earlier about like the trafficking bill.
Trafficking bill,
327 or nothing.
327 to 0, and
was-
that's the second
was,
time that that's happened.
right.
I was on the first bill, and that's great. That's
And
very
the same
important.
thing with the domestic violence bill, 325 to 3.
325 to 3.
And both bills were, you know, nonpartisan bills. You had Republicans and Democrats that were on their bill. I mean, that was some good bills there. It's about time the Democrats crossed line and worked with Republicans.
You know,
I was glad to see that.
the only probably reason why the Republicans voted for any of these bills in a big way is because simply they know that they would be skewed the following day because of
that's not
how
true.
can you disagree with having a law against trafficking? How can you disagree with the laws when it comes
Those
to
were
domestic
no-brainer
violence?
bills. We normally part ways
Yeah, I
when
know,
you want to
I
put your
know.
hands in our pocket and take our wallets.
God,
Then we
hey,
part
okay,
ways. Because how do you compromise on a 5-10 cent tax or a 4.2 tax? Do you say, hey, don't worry about it, I'll settle for 2 cents. We'll compromise on 2 cents.
We will talk
Come on.
about it, but so
You know?
to let people want to see next week's show,
Right.
The Republicans absolutely are the cause of probably one of the greatest hole in the budget that we can't fill without having gaming, and it's
Well-
your fault. It was under O'Brien who did it. How
many
can
years-
O'Brien?
How many years was Lynch the governor?
Yeah,
How,
okay.
how many
How-
years was Lynch the
how-
governor? Now you got Maggie Hassan.
uh,
They've done nothing on the MET.
How could you
Nothing.
give the award as O'Brien, the most conservative
Well-deserved.
Republican,
Well-deserved.
given by? Give me a break.
You know, it wasn't under O'Brien's watch that they
Yeah.
downgraded us on our, you know, what do they call it, our Moody.
I
it
beg
wasn't
your
under him. It was
pardon.
under Governor
I
Hassan and Speaker
beg
Norelli.
your pardon.
They just did it.
It was the reason why it is what the Republicans did
No, that's
or
not true.
didn't do.
That's not true.
That is
That's
true.
not true. It has to do with the surplus.
no, it
has
does-
a
has
lot to
not-
do
surplus-
because you all put legislation in to
You
take money out of the surplus.
Guys did what?
We had a $70-something million
You had
surplus.
something that you set up for since 1991, a
92.
shell
Now,
game
under Judge-
that you
my
played.
understanding under Judge
and
Gregg-
O'Brien took the money out and didn't pay it back as
No,
he was
that's
supposed
not-
to.
that's not
as
true.
he was supposed to.
That's-
And you know what happened?
The federal government came in
No, it
and
wasn't
said
the
we
federal
were doing
government.
it wrong.
No, it was the hospitals here in the state of New Hampshire.
Yes.
They were found to be correct. O'Brien took the money out,
The
didn't put the money
federal
back. It
government
may be $400 million. Shame on you guys.
Did not the federal government come in under Medicaid and say and threaten to fine us because we were not using the money properly? O'Brien went in, put the money in accordance with the law. We were doing it improperly since 1992.
No,
then under the budget,
you know, Al,
do you remember the
I
fines?
really love you, but you know, it just happens that this one, you're not going to be able to talk your way out of this one because guess what? I really had facts.
Yeah, you got. Can you show me the facts?
I know.
Show me the facts. If you remember,
I've had an argument. I've had arguments with you, and you've
Yeah,
said, "I'll show you
that's
the
right.
facts." I said, "What do facts have to do with
Yeah,
it?"
that's
No,
right.
forget it.
Matter of fact, if you go back and take a look at it, when O'Brien first took over, Medicaid, there was a big fine that they were going to fine us over the MET tax because we were doing it improperly. And then so O'Brien just took over as the speaker.
MET tax.
So they were
Will you
working on
please-
the budget.
You have to know what you're talking about if you're going to be a co-host and you're going to sit there. The ME tax, by the way, was a
MET
tax
tax.
on the hospitals.
Yes.
We taxed
For
the
bed
hospitals.
space.
They would give the money to us.
Was it for beds?
We would get money.
bed, right?
We would get money from the federal government. We'd pay we'd pay the hospitals back, and we kept this little amount of money, about $40 million
that
a year.
was illegal to do it
Now,
that way.
well, O'Brien took the money and didn't give it back
no,
to the doctors.
O'Brien
That's
stopped
why
it.
it went to the court.
O'Brien stopped
Oh,
it.
he stopped it,
because
all
the
right.
federal government says we were not in compliance with the Medicaid
federal-
law.
The lawsuit didn't take place until O'Brien and you guys didn't return money that you were supposed to. I
Because-
love these guys. Oh, let us don't take any money out of the pockets, but you'll steal it from the hospitals.
No, it wasn't
Shame
stolen
on
from
you.
the hospital. That was money that belonged to the taxpayers because
the
it
money-
was a Medicaid
the money
tax.
belongs-
It was a Medicaid tax on the beds.
Really?
They made a deal in 1992, Judd
So-
Gregg, to be able to give that back. We'll hold on to it
Next-
till the federal government gives
So
us
next
money.
year, when there's a $400 million
I thought it was
hole,
180 or
it's
200 million.
you're going to
Wait,
be
wait.
over. We got to pay the money back.
I thought it was 180
You're right,
million.
180, but we
Right.
got to pay the money back that we took.
Well, no.
back to the
Isn't it going to the
hospitals.
Supreme Court?
Yeah, it's going to the Supreme
Okay,
Court.
then
It's
how-
won. Two
then
courts have beaten because it is, unless we do what? Unless we turn around and tax more people in the health industry, the same as we're taxing the hospitals.
Right, they should be. But the thing is,
They-
my,
oh, wait.
my
Whoa, whoa,
understanding
whoa, whoa.
is it's a,
It should
it's
be.
a
I thought
it's
you
a
were the
bed
guy who said you
tax.
didn't want taxes.
No, I don't. But the
Well,
thing
well,
is,
you just
that's
said
a
we
federal
should tax more.
It's a federal tax.
What are you talking about? It's not a federal
Because
tax. It's a New Hampshire tax.
No, it's a Medicaid tax.
You don't
That's
even know
wrong.
what you're talking about. It wasn't a Medicaid tax at all. It was a tax that we did here in the state of New Hampshire, the shell game. And you want to know why they
What?
did that? And it was Governor Gregg. You know why he did that? He did that so he could balance the budget.
Yes.
Let's steal from one.
Was Governor Lynch?
from
How long
Peter
was Governor
from,
Lynch there?
What has that got to
How
do
long
with
was
the thing?
How long was Governor Lynch there?
3 terms.
3 terms. He did nothing. He did nothing.
Oh no!
Why didn't he speak
no,
up
No!
on that
you know,
money?
you know what he did?
What
he
did
did
he do?
exactly what you guys did. He couldn't take that money out. You want to know why? Because it was working fine. Every year you got about $40 million. You guys come along. You want all the money. You're the guy. No, let's not tax. Let's not spend. You steal from the hospitals, and we're going to be talking more about that because we got about a minute. and
Oh, yeah,
22
without a
seconds.
doubt, because it'll give me time to bring up the New Hampshire med tax.
Oh, God.
On showing you how it's a bed tax.
Oh, it's a
on
bed
how the
tax.
money is on Medicaid.
What has that got
It's
to do with
because
it?
it is Medicaid.
You
it's a 50-50.
don't know what you're talking about.
Is Medicaid a 50-50
You know, I am
split?
telling you, if you only knew what you were talking about, I would be happy.
Is it called the net Medicaid enhancement tax?
I'm not talking
the
to you
MET.
about this.
Is it the Medicaid enhancement
No, it's not.
tax?
Don't touch me. That's assault.
Typical liberal.
Today. All right, okay. My name is Ken Gidge, and this is the Art of Politics. Al Baldessaro is...
Al Baldessaro. I'll help him out.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got to get that. Anyway, he will be here, and we're leaving. You can get us, and how are they going to get you?
Look up Medicaid enhancement tax.
All right. Ken Gidge, you can get me at gidgeworld.com.
And you get me at www.albaldessaro.com or call me on my phone, 425-6997.
And let me tell you, I've got news for you. Next week's show is going to be blood.
We're taking the gloves off.
We're taking that glove off. Wait, this was just a practice.
That's right. We're
between
taking the
us.
gloves
All
off
right.
because I got the facts right here.
You got facts. You can't even read.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay.
why you get the facts. All right. I hope you've had fun. David Kensler came on. Thank you, David.
Nice guy there, I have to admit, for a Democrat.
Oh, God. See you guys later.